So energetic NLP in the past has been, you know, the energy spa programs, which I'll continue to do. But they were like level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. And doing it that way was always a marketing decision. You know, I felt like, well, I can't ask people to commit to a bigger program. I mean, I never felt like it really should be divided like that. But I felt like it was too much to ask people like, oh, sign up for a year of energetic NLP when you have no idea what it is. And so I experienced it as like, well, you know, what can you do? I need to do it in this different kind of way. And then we would sometimes started, you know, packaging together level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. But even then, and, you know, I was aware that they weren't, one followed another, but they weren't tightly integrated. And the time in between, I would have the grad calls and stuff to support people, but it wasn't like any kind of tight integration between the programs. And people would be telling me at times they wanted more interaction with me. They wanted more direct feedback, not just group feedback. And people weren't asking for a tighter integration, but I was aware like that would make a huge difference. Now, how many of you can relate to that? You know? And so over this last year, really, been working a lot with well, I haven't introduced, for those of you who don't know, Jeff Tamber. Jeff is somebody, he went to one of my talks in Arizona years ago. And I don't know, 9 years ago, 10 years ago. I think he might have been like around 24, but he'd been doing energy and spiritual work since he was really young. And so he had a lot of ability and talent and knowledge. But then when I started putting ideas out from energetic NLP, it just rocked his world and really changed the way he thought about everything. Because he'd been following a fairly conventional sort of Eastern philosophy kind of path, which is perfectly fine, but he realized that when I would express different ideas, it was taking somewhere that for him felt much more aligned. And it was interesting too, because he really resisted taking the level 1 program. All this resistance came up, and when he'd meditate on it, he kept getting no's and stuff. But people who knew him well would go, no, you should go. You know, it's all that resistance was in his face, and you know how that all goes. So then he ended up, you know, taking everything I offered in the U.S. and flew out here for the level 4, and we started informally working together. And then, over the last year, we decided to formally start working together. And he's really been improving the field, both because he's very talented and very smart, but also he knows me really well. He knows energetic NLP really well. He can really challenge. He sees my blind spots real clearly, and is not afraid to challenge me on them. And only is not afraid, I think he thinks it's his mission, which I totally agree. I think it is too. You know, and he's been really encouraging me, like, are you going to make this a field? Are you going to kick it up a notch? Are you going to really make something that will live beyond me? Which never used to be my goals. And he wasn't the only influence on that, but I realized I really wanted to create something where people could be certified, like people have been asking for years, where there could be other trainers, and where there's a real field that goes on beyond me. And so really over the last year, we've been spending a lot of time looking at how to do that, and experimenting around with what can we do online versus in person. And there's no way I'm going to stop doing the in-person programs, but obviously they're a lot more trouble. You know, they're more expense, time for all of you. They're not necessarily more trouble for me, but for all of you, it's a lot more demanding. And what you can do online right now is pretty amazing. So this Zoom system that I'm starting, not an advertisement for them, but and it's something you can do as a video, but people can just be on the phone too if they, you know, if they're not, don't have a tablet or smartphone or something that can work. But I can, we're now learning how we can hold a class. We can break people into separate rooms, they call it. So just like here, like when I had you get into threes, you can do that with Zoom now. I can divide you up into threes. You can work with each other. Jeff and I can even visit your rooms and go, how's it going? Do you need any feedback? And then you can bring everybody back together as a group. just like we do here and in person. So we've really been looking at how much can we do online and how much will we do in person? And how do we really take the whole program up? Like I'm really proud of what Energetic NLP has accomplished, and you know, and the people, you know, like over dinner and stuff, tell me how it's changed their lives and the difference it made. And even it was funny. I went to a Christmas party and I got in the elevator at the building, and this guy gets in and he goes, "Oh, you know, Lucy told me, you know, gave me your ancestral healing CDs and stuff." He goes, "It was a turning point in my life." And so I know all of this has made a difference, but I know it can go. What we've done so far is scratching the surface of what's possible. And I've been talking to a lot of other people who design programs and stuff. And so that where Energetic NLP is going is there will be some of the energy spa type programs, but there'll be more of what I just did in LA, these 3-day programs where people get a chance to really get exposed to it and decide, is it something they really want to jump into and really, you know, put the time and the effort and the money and everything into. And then after that, it's going to be a year-long program. So rather than level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, it'll be a whole integrated year-long program that'll have 3 in-person retreats. And then every month there'll be a 3-hour virtual retreat using Zoom. So there'll be a 3-hour class, a 1.5-hour class, and then an energy spa session every month. So that it will really be tightly integrated in between the retreats, and people can keep learning and developing more mastery. So, and tomorrow I'll go more into the details of it, but I'm very, very excited about it. And I was playing around. I was trying to make it at first a 6-month program, because again, to make it more accessible to people. And I realized I'm doing the same thing I've always done, which is not thinking, what do I think is really the best thing for people, but what, you know, making it more accessible. So while I'm not giving up on making it more accessible, that's why we'll have so much of it online. You know, Jeff and I kept going back and forth, and every time we'd look at the energy of it, we always got to make it a year program. So the M Club, you've heard me reference stuff, is a year-long program now. There will be 3 in-person retreats, and then in between these, you know, 3-hour online session, 1.5-hour session, and the energy spa. The 3-hour sessions will be on Saturdays, so that it can be in the morning in California and the early evening here, so that to make it the most accessible I can internationally.
And do you have to go live? I mean, do you have to do them live?
No, they'll all be recorded. And part of it too is there'll be, some of you know Kajabi, there'll be a whole website that will have a library and resources and videos and audios, and including all of the sessions, but a lot more to include all the grad calls as part of it. But there'll be a lot of new material added on that people can use as needed. So I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be incredibly, and people would get some one-to-one sessions with me. It's part of it, because people have wanted more individual attention. So I know and I have other people look at the energy of it. And like John Friedlander looks at the energy and he goes, "Your M Club is going to be amazing." And John is not one to give a compliment lightly, particularly to me. I mean, no, he's just always like, you know, 100% honest with me, you know, whatever his read is. And all my friends I've had look at it energetically are very excited about it. What I see about it is very exciting. So I'll go into more details about it tomorrow, but that's the form that it's going to take. And I'm also going to be doing, I won't be doing more one-on-one sessions with a few people who've already been clients, unless people are either part of the M Club or there's another program. Because the one-to-one sessions are always a little dissatisfying to me to have them as one-offs. So there'll be like packages that people can do, but not just like a session. So a few of you that I've worked with for years, again, I want to honor the community. And also for this first M Club, there'll be a very, very significant discount. You know, basically half for all of you, because you're my community. I want to reward you. You've already done a lot of stuff. And so some of the M Club will definitely be a repeat for you, but how many of you have repeated the levels? Was it valuable or? Yeah, I mean, every time you'll take it somewhere much further and deeper. But there will also be a lot of changes. Like I say, we're evolving even what your M is. And I'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. But I'm really, really excited about it. I think it's going to finally be something that I really feel is doing what I wanted to do, rather than going, oh, let's give a little piece here, and oh, if they like that, we'll do another little piece. And there'll probably be less people involved for that reason, but I'm determined now, once people get to a certain point, which after like the 3-day programs, they'll know whether it's for them or not, then it's like, okay, let's kick it up and do something fantastic and not do little bits and pieces. So that's kind of the vision of it, that again, more personal attention, more mastery, more integration between all the levels. But also, people have been coming up to me and saying they've noticed how much the energy has shifted. And Jeff and I have been like spending a lot of time like working on our energy, working on the energy of the whole energetic NLP program. And we're starting to create a whole thought form energy space for the M Club. And so when people are in the M Club, there's going to be this ongoing, whenever you want to tap into it, energy field of transformation. And on top of that, along with the other things I mentioned, at least once a month we're going to do, for want of a better word, a blessing on everybody in the program, and just keep working with them. So there'll be lots of empowerments, blessings, information, training. We'll be including work with trauma. We'll be including work with, again, the shadow, and a whole lot of other things. So, and I've been listening to other people in the personal development field, which I always have been, but I'm looking even more and more like, what can I take and add into it? So there'll be a lot more NLP also in it, a lot more work with parts, a lot more work with the unconscious. So in a nutshell, that's this whole new vision of it. And there'll be certification available for people that have already been in the programs. And what there will be, so like with the retreats, if it's a 3-day retreat, there'll be a day before for people that are being certification. So we'll work with them for a day, and then they'll be working with people during the retreat. And we'll be able to supervise them. And so that, because it's really important to me, part of the reason the reason certification's never happened is I've gone back and forth. Originally I thought, oh, how do I make it as easy as possible for people? But then it's meaningless, which is what you have in happily not all NLP centers, but NLP certification has become meaningless. Unless somebody goes to certified by Robert Dilts or Susie Smith or Tim and Chris Album or something, and I'm sure there are other good people too, but then that means something to me. But so much of it now, somebody goes to a certified NLP trainer even. I know this guy in LA, and he's a nice guy. He goes to that same meditation group I go to, and he goes, oh yeah, I love NLP. I've done my master's. Everything's been online, including he's an NLP trainer now, all online. And he's a nice guy, so I haven't said anything to him about it, but I'm thinking, it's like you're being trained as a trainer all online, and I don't find that satisfying, to put it mildly. And even there's some people in the field in human development that I really respect, who I'll find out, they have their high performance coaches and stuff. And a lot of them, they had 10 days of training. I'm thinking, how many of you think that's a lot of training, so the point that I'm trying to say, I want to make certification something that if you know somebody is certified in energetic NLP, even if you've never heard their name before, you would recommend to your loved ones they could go see them. So the goal of the certification program, my goal will be anybody who goes in it, I want all of them to be certified. And I won't certify people unless they're at a level of mastery that I believe in. But Jeff and I, our commitment will be that if you're willing to put the work in, that you'll get it. And for a lot of you, well, you're already pretty far along. It wouldn't be too hard. But so the certification program, there'll be, and I'll hand out a sheet tomorrow, there'll be online stuff just for them too, or the people in that program too. But there will be the in-person work and then the chance to, at the regular M Club retreats, to be operating as a more or less assistant, so that we can supervise and see your work. And for some people, it might be after a few months, we're going, yeah, you're ready, you're certified. Other people, it might take them the whole year. But again, our commitment to you will be, A, we won't let you in the certification if we don't think you're capable of it. And then, my commitment will be, if you put in the work, you'll have us behind you. So that's the kind of the big picture. There will still be some energy spa programs. Thank you. And I'll take that as enthusiasm. So, and we'll have time to chat about this more tomorrow. Also, I'm very interested in your input, and suggestions and ideas. And maybe even tonight, I'll give you some handouts you can look at and stuff, and we can talk about it tomorrow. But that's kind of the big picture of it. So the idea is, I want to deliver a lot more value to people so you can do a lot more with it out in the world. And I want it, whether you're being certified or not. And then some people have asked, well, could some of the M Club retreats be in the UK? And if there were enough interest, and it wouldn't be the same discount, because obviously if we have to come here, it's doubling our expenses and everything. Not to mention the time and energy. So, but we'll look at all that tomorrow. And it's not something you have to decide tomorrow. It is something you'll need to decide pretty quickly because it's going to start in the beginning of June, online. So, time's getting short. So there's a limit in how much. You don't have to, like say, decide today or tomorrow, and you will need to decide, in a few days, so that we can plan and get things together. Because it's a lot of work to do, but I'm really excited about it, and I think it's just going to kick everything up to a profoundly different level. So that's the big picture of it. Any immediate questions or comments? Yeah.
So when you say certification, do you mean just to practice or to teach or?
Well, certification would be similar to an NLP type certification where it's saying that you're at a certain level of mastery of an energetic NLP. So anything that you've learned in energetic NLP, I encourage you to use, and I'd love it if you credit it to energetic NLP, but you don't have to, that's up to you. So I'm encouraging you to use what you want. If you want to be able to put that you're certified in energetic NLP, or if you just want that level of mastery, then the certification program makes sense. If neither of those things matter to you, it wouldn't make sense. So it's to me, the biggest thing is to get to a much higher level in it, in what you can do. But it wouldn't certify you as a trainer in energetic NLP. Again, if you want to teach things from energetic NLP, that's great. Just you can't at this point say you're certified in it or a trainer in it. So like anybody can teach something from NLP, but they can't say they're an NLP trainer.
Right.
Yeah. Does that answer it?
Yes. And then how, is the M Club quite linear? So would it be starting again at level 1 and then going through the tiers, or do the levels not exist, so to speak? It's just a year-long experience of everything that you've done so far and then more?
Well, in some ways it will mirror the tiers, but not exactly. So the beginning of it will be a lot like a level 1, the first parts of it, because the basics need to be there. The rest of it, there'll be things that we'll be introducing much earlier. So in my mind, I had a level 5 in mind. It's going to incorporate all of that. So it's going to go beyond what you've done, and at the beginning, it'll probably be linear, but not necessarily after that.
So the whole year is designed to be an amalgamation of everything you've ever taught, and then all of your new discoveries
and more.
and embellishments.
Yeah, so all the way through level 5, and yeah, and things as they're evolving. So even, I'm quite sure, because Jeff and I are constantly working on it, and all of you, everybody in the program will be having ideas and putting input in. So like, we suggested, run the program. So again, we're going to be incorporating, everybody will be helping to develop it on a certain level, and we'll keep shifting things. My feeling is that, so even years ago, people were going, gee, what used to be in level 2, a lot of, or 3 is now in 2, and some things from 2 are in 1. And I think there's going to be a lot of that, and I think we're going to take it much further than I'm seeing it at the moment, is the message I get. But the beginning part will be, the basics. And people who've been through the 3-day program have gotten some of that too. And a fair amount of that will be online, so that the first retreat will be able to rock and roll.
Are they all going to be in LA?
Yeah, I think so. When we have the whole group, there's a possibility, like for the second retreat, if people wanted to do it somewhere like a Sedona or someplace with amazing energies, if the group's open to that, we might pick some very cool spot. How many of you have been to Sedona? No. The energies are frigging, it's like, I enjoy Glastonbury, but some of you know Steve Nobel, but when he went to Sedona, he went, oh my God, that blows Glastonbury. Was that your experience too, Adam? I mean, yeah. I mean, there's all these different vortexes, including arts rock, which is what my friends call it. Yeah, I mean, it's frigging phenomenal. So if people were open to it, and if you're coming from a distance, you might as well go to Sedona's LA. Yeah, it's a phenomenal place, and it's beautiful, and it's just full of wonderful people. But so we're considering that for the second one. But again, it's not going to be that big a group of people. So, I mean, it may, maybe 20 some odd people is all we're talking about. So, we'll have people give some input.